Can you get your yogurt?
What?
Your yogurt.
I am.
Good morning, guys.
Do you know if I left my chapstick at home?
I don't know. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show, where we are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life and finances. My name is Yamitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy Specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? You know, if you actually rub it on, it works better than just tapping it. Just saying.
No, I don't want to do that.
Good morning, everybody.
It's hurting me.
Wow.
It feels like I got a cut on it.
Oh, well, that's not good. I hope everybody's ready. Rosie's outside of the car getting her feet together, because apparently there's a problem with it. Do you want some lotion?
There's nothing there. Yeah, give me some lotion.
Yeah, look in my purse and get us some lotion. All right, guys, welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. We're having confessions and conversations about your everyday life and finances. So I hope you guys have been enjoying the show. I hope that something I have shared is helping somebody. Thank you for throwing it dead in my book. I want to thank you guys for sharing the show and for showing up every morning at 7:15. I know this morning we're running a little late. I was late yesterday too, y'all. The struggle was so real to get out of bed this morning. Woo! Ooh. Even me and Rosie both was like, do we really have to go somewhere today? Like, do I really have to go? And I was like, I don't want to go to work, and she didn't want to go to school. So that was that. All right, guys. So today, I don't know. I was going to tell you guys just a few things. I don't know that you guys know. Some of you may know that I have written up. Rosie, you need to wipe that off and take that with you. And I appreciate. No, you can lick it off.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
But you need to take your container with you.
Take it.
Stick it in the Ziploc bag. Good morning, Margaret. The car edition. Margaret has some great points this morning. Go back and listen to it. Agree to listen and listen to agree. Two different things. And she got to see one of the people I love. Yes. So, and there's your friend. You want to wave at her? She loves your orange hair. There's your friend, Margaret. So, she always says good morning to you and to Rosie and the girl with the orange hair. So I want you to take that container.
I'm going to take it. Okay. Stop saying it.
I just want to make sure she's going to take it. So, Margaret, I was so envious of you to see her. Was that this weekend that you got to see her? Like, that had to be amazing to be in her space. Like, I think so I've always been a nerd, but in my heart of hearts, I've always been like a radical, like a free will person, but I've always been the shy type. Like, people are not really going to think I'm radical, but in the inside, I'd be like, yeah, tear it down, burn it down. And it's finally oozing out. It's finally oozing out. And people are looking at me. She says she love y'all. I'm still getting it by. Be peaceful. Love you. You look beautiful today. Go be fabulous. Yeah, so I'm jealous. I wish I could have went. So, y'all make sure you check out Margaret's video. So, what I was saying is that I know some of you guys know I've written a book, and maybe some of you don't know. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me today, and this is going to be real short. So the reason why I call myself the only Live Past Crazy Specialist, not only do I know crazy, I lived it. And so my first book came out in 2015. Look, let me see. I think it was 2015. So this is my first book, Fearless Woman, Born to Give Thanks. And you can find this, it's on Amazon. If you go to Live Past Crazy, it's on there as well. So Fearless Woman, Born to Give Thanks is my first book. The second book is Transition to Freedom. And then there's a third book God Says, I Am Battle Scar Free. And that is a book of many authors coming together, and we all tell our story. And so a lot of times I get asked the question, JoJo, why did you write this book? And more importantly, if you've ever read this book, if you can get past the first 3 pages, then you will continue. And it wasn't my intent to shock you. When you first open a book, it was my intent to get your attention, to know that what I'm saying is real. And so a lot of people, after they have read the book in the introduction, so if you can get past chapter 1, most people stop. A lot of people stop there, and it was like, JoJo, this is graphic, number 1. Number 2, why are you telling your story? Why are you telling all of your business? Because my family and my friends had more importantly, my family. I don't know if my friends had an opinion. If they did, they didn't tell me. But my family definitely had an opinion about why I should or should not write this story. And why would I want to tell it? And sometimes, guys, when you set out to tell your story, because you got to live true to your truth, right? So when I set out to tell my story, there was a lot of things. I was trying to hold it up so y'all guys could see it, and I got it down in my lap. There are a lot of things that come along with that. The fact that you are first admitting that you have a story to tell and that you want to tell it to the world. I decided to tell my story because I knew I didn't know until this young girl, my first time speaking to anybody about this. I went to a group of girls who were from work to welfare, and I was telling them how I was on welfare and my abusive relationship, because 9 times out of 10 out of 10 women have been in an abusive relationship. 9 out of 10, or in some shape, form, or fashion. I told them my story, and afterwards, the girl sent me a message and said, "If you had not told your story, I wouldn't have thought that I could have left, and I know he would have killed me." And so that let me know, right, Margaret. That let me know that I had to tell my story, and if I didn't, somebody was going to die if I didn't tell my story. And it was really that serious, and I had to see it that way. And then the next hurdle for me to get over was, if I tell my story, the limelight that it's going to put on my family. What are other people going to think of? What are other people going to think about my family? That was their concern. My family was concerned with, what are people going to think about us because we allowed this to happen to you? And the fact is, there was nothing anybody could have did to stop this from happening. I think this was something that had to happen to make me the person that I am today. So if you haven't read book 1, go to Amazon, Fearless Woman Born to Give Thanks. Go grab book 1, and I promise once you finish, you'll want to read book 2. But so when I decided to tell my story and I got over the shame of myself, I was then confronted with thank you, Margaret. Then I was confronted with, I didn't tell my family till after I wrote the book. And then I told them I wrote a book that was like, about what? About my abuse. Why? Because I needed to tell other people. And they were mainly concerned with how they were going to be perceived in the book. That, and number 2, why you want to tell your business. Why you want to tell your business like that? And so that is hard. So when you seek to tell your truth, number 1, make sure that you understand everything that's going to come along with that. Okay? And make sure, again, that your foundation is set or semi-set, because it can't be lightweight. Like, you got to have some weight to your foundation, because when you start on this journey, because let me tell you, when I wrote book 1, I didn't cry. I didn't cry at all. I wrote it and I was done with it, and I put it down. It wasn't until book 2, Transformation of Freedom, and it's in the back of the car, so I didn't get it out. Transition of Freedom is also on Amazon or livepastcrazy.com. You can get them in both places. It wasn't until book 2 that I cried. Book 2 was the hardest for me to write. And I think it was book 2 was the hardest for me to write. Right, Margaret. Exactly. Book 2 was hard for me to write because I had dealt with it here, but in book 2, I was able to see my life after the abuse and the steps and the things that I went through after, and it overwhelmed me. It made, like, I don't even know what word I want to say right there besides overwhelm. It overwhelmed me. It took me, like, I was more depressed writing book 2 than I ever was with book 1. And I think because in book 1, I was so focused on, because when I tell my story, now I can tell it and I'm not in it. I can tell the story and I'm not attacked and I'm not there. Great morning, Miss Valerie. And I'm not there. The abuse, I can talk about, what he did to me, and I can talk about it. But in book 2, Transition of Freedom, it is newer, meaning it is me living past crazy. Transition of Freedom is me living past crazy. Book 4 is Living Past Crazy, to be coming out soon. But in Transition of Freedom, it is really me sharing with you guys how I dealt with all the crazy. Like, how did because in book 1, I'm just surviving. I'm just literally surviving, period. But in book 2, I'm having to survive and live and take care of children and deal with adult things and deal with life things. Because sometimes when you're going through crazy, there's just one thing you have to deal with, and that's surviving. That's just the bare basics. If I can just live past this moment, I'm going to be okay. I'm just saying, Margaret, the process, sister. Woo! The process. In book 2, I had to be real with the fact and confront myself. Well, not confront myself, but I had to realize that there was a lot of stuff going on that I had to walk through and acknowledge that I didn't have the answers to a lot of things. I didn't have the answers. I didn't know where to go. But y'all remember a couple of weeks ago I said you got to trust your knower, the things that's up under you. You got to trust that. And that's where I could see me beginning to trust my knower, beginning to trust who I was a little bit more. Because in book 1, I just was surviving. I just had to get out the marriage and just not try to get killed for that day. That was it. In book 2, Transition of Freedom, I now have to deal with the fact that I'm a mother to a child I didn't even hold the first 2 weeks of her life. And then the first 30 days of her life, I only touched her through a glass. And then when she came home 30 days after she was born, I still wasn't allowed to touch her. Because my ex-husband said, you can't touch her because you're going to train the new wife to be her mother. So I don't want you to get attached to her. So only time I touched my newborn after she came out the hospital for 30 days is when he allowed me to touch her. And so I'm having to deal with the fact that I let a man tell me I couldn't touch my child. Number 1. Then number 2, I'm having to deal with the fact that I don't even know how to mother this child because the motherly instinct is not there. It's not there. There's no, it's going to come to you, JoJo, when you hold her. There's absolutely none of that. There was the crying. I cried. I was depressed. I didn't know it was postpartum then, but I had that. Rosie would cry. I would cry. And we sit there and cry together. And my girlfriend was like, are you going to pick her up? No. I felt no motherly instinct. It just wasn't there. It wasn't there because I didn't want it to be there. Because And then this is why Transformation of Freedom was a little harder when I wrote it, because I had to put all of that into words. I had to put all of those feelings and those emotions that I was going through right then into words. And then it became real, like this really did happen. Like, JoJo, you really walked through this. Now, me and Rosie have an amazing relationship now. But that first year, 2 years, whoo! Let me tell you, if it wasn't for Tashana, who let me live there with her, and she let me live with her for like 5 months. And in those 5 months, she took care of my child. Okay? Rosie would cry, she would come and get her. Rosie need changing, she would change her feeder, and she gave me the space to deal with mentally what I needed to deal with. Again, counseling will become your friend. Yeah, I had a child. I had two. I had Courtney and I had Rosie. But they were two different people, born in two different situations at two different times. So in Transition of Freedom, I deal with all that. And that's why it was harder for me. I didn't cry when I wrote book 1. So when you read page 1 and you're kind of shocked, and I won't read it on here because I'm sure Facebook will absolutely block that. But book 2, Transition of Freedom, is where I see that all the things that the mental, physical, and emotional abuse, I saw it played out. A to the man. Miss Margaret, I am my sister's keeper. I love you. We found each other, girl. So in book 2, I worked it out. So on top of having to deal with all those emotions, I still have to work. I still have to be an adult. I still have to carry the titles that people want you to carry. I still got to be friend. I still got to be daughter. I still got to be sister. I still got to be auntie. I still have to be employee. I have to be all those things. And it is overwhelming when you first get out of crazy to try to carry all of your titles, handle all of your emotions, and think that you're going to get out of there without losing your mind. My sister, I'm telling you, it's a fine line. And counseling is your friend, and it should really be your friend. And if I am a firm believer in counseling, you should have one. If you say, oh, well, my friends are my counselors, please make sure that they are not friends who are judgmental and agreeing with you to better themselves, to talk about you, or they're giving you misguided information, because sometimes our friends are giving us information from their point of view, not from a realistic, objective point of view. There is a difference. So if it wasn't for the counseling and the things, it would have been harder. It was already damn near impossible, but at least the counseling made it a little easy. Right. It will break, like, I can't tell you the nights, because the physical, like I said, the physical, you will heal. My black eye will go away. All of that will go away. It is the emotional and the mental that sticks with you. Like, I will tell you all the time, I created OCD habits. I think I did it to keep my mind together. And it is amazing what your mind will do to keep you from going crazy. And it wasn't until I wrote book 2 that I realized that, because I realized that if people talk too much to me, I count the ceiling tiles in the ceiling. I roll the lint under my fingernails. I multiply things by 13. I hate looking people in the eye. You will never see me look anybody in the eye. And at first I used to think, JoJo, I had to get over that. Like, I had to get over that fear of, why don't I like to do that? But now I know it's just me protecting my space. Now, whether I feel safe with you is a different story. I can feel safe with you and look you in the eye for a brief few minutes. But always, again, that abuse, once you've been through it, it sticks in here. I can look you in your eyes for a good 2-3 seconds. After that, I'm looking away. Nothing to do with you. It's just a mental thing for me that, right, see, I count by 13s because I had to keep my mind sharp. And so it's the little things that your brain does to keep you occupied, to let you know your reality is not your reality. That, JoJo, this may be happening, but it's not real. This may be happening, but this is not who you are. And that, my friend, is the evidence of your mind being a powerful and an amazing thing. And you're selling your mind short when you think that you can't accomplish something, when you think you can't do something. Look at your situation right now. Look at the crazy you're in right now. Let's just look at it for a minute, okay? And let's just admit all of that's crazy, right? But somehow you are making it through that every single day. Every day you make it happen. And you want to tell me that your mind is not an amazing thing? So that's book 1 and book 2, Transition to Freedom. You can find them both on Amazon. Book 3 is with I co-authored with maybe 6-7 other ladies. And it says, the name of that book is God Says I Am Battle Scar Free. If you go to Amazon and simply type in my name, here it is, Yanmitra Waddell. This is Fearless Woman, Born to Give Thanks. So if you type it in, it will come up on. If you don't even want to go through Amazon, go over to livepastcrazy.com. My books are listed, and it's just a quick click. And you can get your book if you have a Kindle. It's instant, or if you want it mailed to you. I do have a few copies, so if you want to buy it directly from me, send me a message, and I will send you the link to purchase, and I can sign your copy and mail it to you, so that you can have your own personal copy. So hold on, y'all. My little lady friend is here this morning. Let me move out of her way. She's the nicest lady. The other lady is really rude. Right, Margaret. They're managing their protection at all times. And that's important. And once you've been through that, when I tell y'all I'm so protective of my space, my time, my energy, I am anal retentive about my energy and my time. I'm telling you. So Miss Margaret, that was the whole purpose of this. I'm coming to Miss Margaret's town, and I'm going to be doing a book tour with Miss Margaret. Miss Margaret is my purpose partner, and she has reiterated some things that, because sometimes you need friends who remind you of who you are and what your purpose is and what you want to do. So there will be a book tour. We will start with Miss Margaret. It will start in Florida. I will have book 1 and book 2 available, and we will have more details about that coming out as well. But if you want to know more about me and why I say I'm the only Live Past Crazy specialist, I suggest you start with book 1. It is not for the faint of heart. You have got to be able to get through chapter 1. I can't read it on here because Facebook absolutely will block me. And this is what you have to promise me when you read this book. I don't want your shame. I don't want your, oh my God, JoJo, I'm so sorry. I don't need any of that because I don't feel any of that. Okay? I don't want any of that because I didn't write it from that space. I didn't write it for pity. I didn't write it to, what's the other word that I want to use? I wrote the book because I was learning to speak my truth. And this was part of my truth. And I could not live and hold on to it. I had to let it out. And I let it out with the purpose of understanding that it was so much bigger than me. It was bigger than what the words I wanted to say. It was bigger than me just telling my story of abuse. And y'all, and you know what? When you start to write, or whenever you start to tell your truth, you're going to say, but everybody has this story. I don't. It's not yours. And as somebody told me, or was I reading it in a book? If you have a problem with telling a story that somebody else has told, go down the bread aisle, the toilet paper aisle, the dishwashing aisle. Just go to the grocery store, period. And explain to yourself, why do you have a problem telling your story? When there's 10,000 versions of bread, ice cream, and every food that you can imagine. Write the story. Tell your truth. Stand in your truth. And if you missed the first part of the show, I was talking about when you start to tell your truth, you first have got to get over your own shame and embarrassment of your story. And then 2, you have to get over the expectations that your family has about you telling your story. And that was the hard part, because a lot of times my family was like, are you really gonna tell all your business like this? Like, really, JoJo, this is what you choosing to tell? Book 1 is graphic. It's not for children. It may be for a teenager. Well, you know what, kids are growing up so fast. 16 and older. And I suggest you read it first before you let them read it, especially chapter 1 and 2. For those who have read the book, you know that I start out very graphic. And it wasn't to shock you. It was simply to get your attention, to let you know that this story was real. And so after I wrote book 1, Fearless Woman Born to Give Thanks, after I wrote book 1, the most questions I had was, oh my God, JoJo, this story can't be true. And I won Author of the Year award for drama category off this book, because the organization that gave me the Author of the Year thought the book was not real. The next year, Transition to Freedom, we won Author of the Year for bibliography, because it's a true story. It's not something I made up. This was my life. So I suggest, if you want to, because a lot of people, and I know sometimes I always say, JoJo, who am I to be telling anybody anything? And now I say I'm the only Live Past Crazy special. If there's anybody can help me trademark that, I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Because I want to start the process. I think I'm just going to go ahead and let somebody else do it so I don't mess it up. But anyway, so this will help you understand why I am the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? And then in book 2, like I said, after I wrote this, people thought it was fake. They didn't believe me. So in book 2, what I did, I put some juicy stuff in book 2. I put actual documents in there and things that you could reference back to see that this was all, it wasn't real. I didn't make it up. So, and when you come to understand that speaking in your truth, standing in your truth, it is to help somebody else. It is to help your sister, because you are your sister's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. It is to help your story. Sometimes, my friend, it is never for you. Ever. It is for the world. And the world, I am waiting on you. We're waiting on you to do the thing that you are supposed to do, to be the thing that you're supposed to be. We're all waiting on that. So when you start to tell your story, speaking your truth, just know that sometimes your story is bigger than you. So I just want to share with you guys who I am, why we do the Fearless Morning Show. If you haven't read book 1 or book 2, you can go over to livepastcrazy.com, grab you 2 copies, or you can go to Amazon if you can't wait for it to be mailed, and you can get it off Kindle. If you want a personal signed copy, send me a personal message here on Facebook, and I will send you the link to pay for it, and I will autograph it, send you an autographed copy for you. It is not for the faint at heart. Yes, that's called the fruit. It's not that. Thank you, Michael. That's what I was looking for. Appreciate that, my brother. Your story is not for you guys. You're out here, as Miss Margaret says, to change the world. Speak your truth and stand in it. What's my quote? If y'all been with me for a while, it's on my desk. I am strengthening my voice by speaking my truth. I am strengthening my voice by speaking my truth. You think you don't have a voice, my sister and my brother, but you do. It's small right now, but the more you speak your truth, the more you are strengthening your voice. Period. What's my other quote? Somebody's waiting for me to move. They will not move until I move. So please strengthen your voice by speaking your truth. You got to speak your truth. Your voice may be small, and when you open your mouth, it may catch in your throat. You may choke a little bit. Your throat gonna be dry. please speak your truth. Your story is absolutely not for you. It is to help somebody else. There is a girl or a man out there waiting for you to tell your story your way, because it's how they're living their life, and they can only understand it from your point of view. And they're waiting to know that there's life out there, but they're waiting on you to tell it. So today, on this Take Action Tuesday, I want you to take some action. Strengthen your voice by speaking your truth. Speak your truth today, okay? Even when you start out, your voice is small. Speak your truth. It'll get stronger. You know that Noah we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Trust that, okay? Trust that. It's there for a reason. And it's never guided you wrong if you listen to it. You got to listen. Remember, the answer that you're seeking is there. You just got to make room for it. You got to make room for the answer. Because if it's always filled with the I can'ts and I don't knows and the complaining, your answer can't come to you. And the answer you're seeking is right here. But when you're busy thinking you don't have it, you don't know it, it can't possibly be, it never will be. If you don't go, you will never see. If you never ask, you'll never know. So today on this Take Action Tuesday, strengthen your voice by speaking your truth. And so I just want to do, for those who've been following the show for a long time, thank you guys so much. You know who I am. But for those who are new to the show, my name is Yamitra JoJo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? If you want to know more about why I say that, Book 1, Fearless Woman Born to Give Thanks, and Book 2, Transition to Freedom. You can grab them off Amazon, or you can go to livepastcrazy.com and grab them if that's easier. Or if you want a signed copy, send me a direct message so I can send you a link so that I can mail it to you. I have just a few of Book 1. I might have 1 or 2 of Book 2. So, but just know it's not for the faint of heart. When you read it, please don't come back with the good morning, Kitty Lynn. Please don't come back with the oh JoJo's I'm so sorry's. I don't want that. I don't want the pity. I don't want the oh my God. I want you to read it with the understanding that your story is bigger than you. Your story is waiting to save somebody's life. And the whole world is waiting on you. A to the man. So I'm just saying, check them out. And tomorrow we will have we will truly have a fearless thought of the day. But today I just want to give you guys a backdrop. So there will be a book tour. So first up is Florida with Miss Margaret D, the job coach. My friend Margaret. You too, Kitty Lynn. I needed that. I will have a positive day today. And I will claim it in your name. I will tell all my friends that Kitty Lynn said for me to have a positive day today. Thank you. A magnificent positive day. I will. So I've lost my train of thought. Tomorrow we will have the fearless thought of the day. And again, y'all, if there's anything that you want to cover, or if you've read the book and there's questions that you have, please ask them. I promise there's not a question that I've never heard about this book. Because if you've read this book, the number one question is, JoJo, what the hell? Okay? The second question is, why the hell? Okay, so I said hell twice, so I ain't gonna say that no more. The third question is this real? And then it's going to be like, so why did you stay? I'm just saying. So think about that. If you have any questions, let me know. So don't forget to grab your copy on Amazon, or if you want, livepastcrazy.com. If you want a signed copy, send me a message directly, and I will send you the link to pay for it, and I will send you an autograph copy. All right, guys, please don't forget to share the show. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, we do have a YouTube channel. You can send it over there to them. Simply type in Fearless Morning Show, and we will pop up. We have over 300 shows over there, so you can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows. And then let me know if you're enjoying the show. Sometimes people talk back and sometimes they don't. So if you're enjoying the show, please let me know so I know that I'm going in the right direction. So if you have any thoughts or questions or ideas, I would love to hear them as well. Don't forget your Foundations of Freedom. Foundations Matter, bit.ly/Foundations Matter, where you can purchase. It's a 5 ebook series, so you can purchase that as well. All right, guys, I hope you have an amazing Tuesday. It is Take Action Tuesday, so take action today. Strengthen your voice by speaking your truth. That is a quote by me. So speak your truth today. And when you first open up your mouth, it may be small. Your voice may be small, but please, it will strengthen. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you. You will strengthen your voice by speaking your truth. I promise. I am my sister's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. And it is important to me that I share that with you guys and let you know that your story is important. Somebody is waiting on you to tell your story so that their lives can be changed. And it may be your family. Your family is waiting on you to change the course of their lives. You are the millionaire in your family. You are the curse breaker in your family. Because of you, your children will never know the struggle that you've been through. Because of you, your grandchildren will never know what it was like to live in lack and less than and not have. Because trust me, that's my goal. Because I've had to look at a kid's face and say, I don't have the money. You can't go on a field trip because I don't. And it breaks my heart. But when I became bound and determined to do something about it, then I was strengthening my voice by speaking my truth. Know that you are that person for your family, and it is that serious. All right, guys, have an amazing Tuesday. Don't forget to share the show because sharing is caring. And I will see you here bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good one.